Yeah, we're just gonna talk about next year, guys. Because we had 2 years dedicated already. I'm just trying to build a team, okay? Don't worry about it. But originally, this is my wish list. This is what I wanted to talk about. And this is why this even started in the first place. Someone made me cry. That's annoying. But, probably shouldn't fucking overinvest. I'm like, yeah, Selena made a very sad song. And the rumor is it's about Justin Bieber. But you have to... The magic is, if you're not saying the name, they are not it. And knowing that Taylor Swift is also a fire person and also can set fires to your forest, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna spin a web. Maybe find more conspiracies than you ever thought. Actually, I think it's really difficult for a man to hurt a woman. Just like vice versa, right? Reverse is true. And let's not forget that Justin Bieber just coming into my dreams, existing there as if it's completely normal, doing a little bit of bromance as we searching for something. I can't take it out that easily. Whatever happens in dreams is a little bit more memorable sometimes. Especially if it's just like, you know, it's interesting because you kind of have a limited arsenal of what you can do in dreams to be impressive. I don't know, but let's see if it's actually that twisted. What if Taylor Swift is the problem? You know, just take it. This is why I cry, man. Like, most of the time, if you tune in into crying, you understand the nature of things is to twist everything around and just kind of break you. Because you're gonna be broken anyways, but who actually breaks you in the end is completely different. The women and men world are separate. This is why I think it's super difficult. Worlds of men and women are very separate. They're dealing with completely different things, and honestly, again, women can hurt you a lot more through recommendations of how to get up from a heartbreak. It's just a single heartbreak. You should run. However, all women should run. Unless they're really, really good friends. And they know exactly what to do. And just survive. Because one heartbreak can lead into more heartbreaks. You know, it's like your best friend shows up. And you have a heartbreak. But it's also immediate war. Is probably the most contagious disease ever. This is why women can actually hurt each other so quickly. Because oh, it's just a simple heartbreak, no problem, right? And then your heart breaks at the same time. Like, everyone's hearts break. Like, what is happening? But Justin Bieber is married, and he's happily living ever after, right? Who cares? Justin Bieber is not on my YouTube map. That's what I care about. He doesn't fucking exist yet. Please, someone help him out. I know he can do it. Now, I don't know what the threshold is to enter YouTube map right now. And the threshold is constantly gonna rise and whatnot. So I also will look into the speed of a person, into the potential. I don't just look into the actual numbers. I look if they can double their score, they technically have a double score, and I'm not gonna settle down for them having a certain type of number. This is why I was able to throw away a few teammates, because I knew the potential of other people, including Taylor Swift, because that's cool. Now, for people who are stepping in completely fresh out of a cupboard and don't fucking understand what this is all about, I have my own worlds, just like everyone else. Like you have your own worlds in your perception, but there's something even crazier that I'm gonna propose here. And I want as many people to kind of get on board and to understand this. After all, I have 3 hours, I can provide full context. And in order to do that, I have to take a step back and talk about my wish list instead. You know, like if I put too much pressure on a person, all of a sudden, it's a wrong move. Okay, just too much pressure, it can explode essentially, but it's a little bit different dynamic here. Okay. My wish list. So what do I fucking want from life right now? It's actually quite difficult. Okay. And obviously, Taylor Swift is now entangled as a mistress of wildest dreams. And so honestly, I'll involve her as well into the wildest. If you want to be a mistress of wildest dreams, you have to do something very special for people. I'm not sure how long I can hold this, but I can still talk about my wish list. So I obviously have set up a team for myself, because I have my own personal influence, group of influence that I really like to be super close. And why would I choose a bunch of singers all of a sudden? But they're so different from everyone else that somehow immediately claim fame, even though all they do is just music. Is that good enough to become famous? That's crazy. Well, no. You need quite a little bit more to be famous. Because when you have fame, now you need something more to keep your fame. Means that, yeah, in order to be famous, maybe you need something different, but there's an additional part that comes with it. It's almost like a revelation of like, people need this specifically right now. That's why they made you famous. Okay. Not just the industries made you famous, but the people made you famous. So many people contributed. So many people contribute to fame. It's something else now. It's almost like a mystery. The contribution, you can't possibly beat it. As a famous person, you can only look nice. So, well, Justin Bieber looked nice for everyone else. And people subscribe to that. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna ban your channel. No, I can't. I like how his name is also Jailbait, or stands for Jailbait. Yeah, you don't want to touch it. You don't want to make fun of him just because that was the trend. Now the trend is make fun of Donald Trump. I think the make fun movement make make fun of someone movement always shifts. So congratulations. Your time is over, unless you want to do the yummy thing and bring it back, you know, like, oh, he did the yummy thing, guys. Do we make fun of him instead? But we made fun of Jake Paul. What do we make fun of now? If not the same person again. Yeah, the last person to be made fun of. I don't remember anyone else but Jake Paul. Like, what? Are we serious right now? We're a seriously deranged nation and we can't fucking make fun of someone. Especially in coronavirus time. Well, it probably reprehended a lot of people, but Jake Paul kept getting in trouble this whole fucking time. What a fucking asshole, man. Nice way to steal spotlights right there. Oh well. But here you go, we go into another rant. What are we gonna rant about this time? Well, we're not gonna rant this time, because it's a different type of rant. It's a positive rant. I have to break through and understand my wish list and how it kind of unentangles. Technically, I probably have so much power I don't even care. I can only hold on to this one thing. Potentially. Potentially, I have so much power. Wishlist is the only responsibility I have. Now, what gives me so much power? Silence, first of all. If I live in silence, I gain many bonus points for every action that I take. In spite of silence. In spite of people ignoring me. You know? Well, I'm gonna get a little bit ahead. Okay, I'm driving a faster car. If I drive in silence, nobody can outrace me. Nobody can say, oh, look at what this guy's doing. I'm a fucking faster faggot right now. Let's go. Vroom, 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 motherfucker. That's not gonna happen. You don't see me. You just don't know what I'm capable of. So you don't know my power better than I do. All I'm capable of doing is a wish list. That's pretty cool. If this is the end video, obviously. If this is what kind of breaks me, and I can make another rant video, well, congratulations. This is, the best. This top of the mountain, motherfuckers. And just like Taylor Swift license, I like it even more. She's also the endgame princess. I like this because what I'm about to say is like, well, Rebecca Black is also kind of the endgame princess too. Because she started the game in the most insane fashion. And Taylor Swift kind of made it insane too. But what Ariana and Selena has in common, they started with acting, which is kind of fascinating. So the question is, can we put her into a princess status as the endgame instead, because she never had the kickstart of acting. Never had a kickstart of acting. See, the real problem about this is that if she acted in a movie like Cats, she literally has no acting talent at this point. Like Taylor Swift, terrible actor. But there is one thing we can do still. One thing we can digest. And we have to let go real quickly because I want it for this to be a little bit anticipation of what I want. And now the question is, do I have enough power to actually influence these celebrities to actually do something different? What if Taylor Swift is a criminal though, and I cried for a good reason? You know? These are actual tears. I count every tear because, like, these are the rarest gems that come out as emotions. Like, this is super rare. If someone can actually spawn tears on my face, I will have huge respect for that part of the story. And, potentially, let's not forget, not only tears are the most precious gems, it's an interesting trade that follows up when you find your gems. It's not that easy to trade those gems, but it's also quite interesting if the other person appreciates crying as much as you do. That's the first thing you have to, convince people that once you show them a gem, they will actually see it as valuable, as shiny. But right now, I don't think tears are that valuable right now. I guess whoever challenges on Cry Battle is gonna be a millionaire anytime now. The moment we realize it's actually more valuable than we thought. But hey, it's also feels like women never really get to play their part, their world. Potentially, I'm scared just what I just said. Women never got to play their role in the world. This is why it feels that not protecting women is sexism, but what it ends up being is political discourse. Or discord. But no, it's discourse. The reason why is like, almost women can play the rewind time mode. It's like the women are gonna be the time machines of the world as we switch the clock and move it forward. So you have the clock again. And this time, and then I say 5 years till next tick. Let's put it like this, 5 years left. And after it reaches number 2, we actually don't go to number 2. We don't just go to number 2. We celebrate. This is where women come into play. Finally. Finally, we actually understand the power of women when all the work is done. Because women are not supposed to do work. Okay, they're supposed to just help. And do the easy stuff, while men are supposed to do the hard stuff. And technically that's still the case. Men want to be a little bit more independent than women. Okay, want to be just a little bit more on top, and that wish list actually brings them up. Okay, your wish list gives you the willpower to go up. And there's no sexism about this. This is literally, okay, I guess I have to put it in here, right? Well, Taylor Swift. Or maybe it's sexism. Tale about sexism. In case she wants to hide completely. Tale about sexism. So it has very little to do with sexuality, actually. Even though it starts with the same name. Because sexism is about discrimination of women. But there is no discrimination ever in reality of any kind. Like, I'm sorry, discrimination is made up. It's not real. It never was real. Who knows if it's possible to make it real? Who knows? Maybe it's just like the stupid idea of science. That you have to reach the level of simulation to feel good about yourself. The level of AI to build things for you. To automate everything. Well, no, you don't want to give up power before you establish yourself. Maybe then you can look into tier 5 and grab the apple of gods and allow it to manifest. And you only grab one. Like, take one bite. But you really don't want to just grab the apple out of greed. Just like the story of Adam and Eve. Well, we're greedy, we're just gonna take it. But obviously they're just curious, right? And it sets them back into the world of curiosity. You know, nothing terrible happened. Adam and Eve simply went on a curiosity tour. Okay, this is why it's easy to criticize God himself for, like, you set up this situation. Yes, he did. That's where you start. Essentially, you're gonna get bored and do evil things. That's where you're gonna start. It's inevitable almost. What this story tells it's inevitable to start by being evil. Babies are fucking evil, man. I'm just saying. Babies are evil. It's a PSA, motherfucker. Yep. Oh, yeah. Adam and Even. I would love that. Adam and Steven, motherfucker. Yeah. It wasn't Adam and... Well, Taylor Swift covered that too in her music video, so congratulations. We're gonna follow up to that too. See, we're tracking someone right now. We're tracking someone who planted seeds all over the place. And yet, we're saying completely different narrative. Your time to celebrate, your time to stop time will come. Don't worry about it. Because we need to prepare ourselves to move forward. Whenever the big change comes, or whenever a big change is about to come, we stop time and prepare. There is no other way. And sometimes stopping time is going to hurt a lot of people. Sometimes it's going to turn into some kind of form of discrimination. And it's still going to be made up. Because the majority of people stopped time. And they can't help you. Okay? Unless you can consent. You just consent and you jump in the stop time motion. How does this work? I just know that this idea exists and you can do that because you need to prepare, because preparation is so important. Every change is so important. Stopping time is just a normal thing that you should be able to do. Magic, you say? I don't think so, because this simply means you don't do crazy things anymore. You are taking care of each other, and that's where women really play the role. As long as they want the time to be stopped, here you go. You will rule the world for that moment, for that period of time. When did that happen, by the way? Because throughout history, we should have had these major breakthroughs. How about Lady Liberty? For me, it's almost like a creation of America. Liberty. What if we go back in history even further than that? To 1.3. Opening of 1.3. This is where maybe a different population explosion happened. Maybe we decided to, like, oh, we need to build big cities and everything. But I don't know. And it shouldn't be that far into history. But this is where, like, things kind of fall apart. History sucks, man. Maybe that's why women feel discriminated, because they don't have history recorded of when the time was stopped. In fact, like, what is Lady Liberty anyways? Who is she and why does she exist? What is that? I want to research just a little bit that. What does it represent? New York, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. People of France. Gift from the people of France. Okay, that's kind of important. It was dedicated here. Enlightening the world. Cool. Yeah, it's quite deep in history, I guess. If we try and do the 15-year rule, because at some point, you know, you can have those dark ages, actually. How about we add dark ages as a potential stop time of history? Dark ages kind of try to end themselves with the witch hunt. Right? Something like that. Try to fix the stopped time with the witch hunt. And now you can understand. Yes, this is actually real. If people were so desperate to bring time back on its track, it's quite interesting. Why else would you start a witch hunt? That's a very, very good justification for a witch hunt, by the way. The best you can ever find. And honestly, you can now start seeing that a lot of things about history is completely hidden. And it's not necessarily on my wish list to bring history all together, but it's in everyone's wish list. Find the true meaning. That's what truth actually is just find the true meaning. Whatever this thing is. So if I take Statue of Liberty, I want the truth, the origin. According the idea of the monument presented by the people was first proposed by blah blah blah, anti-slavery society. Blah blah blah. So it's some kind of anti-slavery thing. What? I don't care. Symbolism. This is a lot of reading, guys. Yeah. They put 3 things together, and I'm like, I want the symbolism thing, but how do I get it? See, I don't fucking care. There's so many names. They try to preserve this, and I know from the storage standpoint, you're just killing history, basically. If you're trying to preserve names, it's not gonna go very well. Yes, you can try and do that if that name is entangled in history, but only Hitler can do that. Probably because his name starts with Hi. Hi story. Yeah, Hi Hitler. No. His name starts with Hit. Yeah. It's a very interesting name. I'm not gonna lie. It would normally be a hitter, but he's a loser hitter. So he can't fucking hit properly. He's to kill people. If that's what you're accusing him of. I don't know. I don't know him. Let's move on. Maybe I'm discriminating against Hitlers. How about that? No, I'm making things up. I'm sorry. Alright, so we need to continue moving on. I might need to take a lot of breaks for this one. Because we're uncovering some fucking crazy shit. Again, this is like magic at first sight. I hate it. I fucking hate it. This is so much power already showed up. And self-explaining. You can't run away from this. So far we're doing great. But I feel like I want to entangle myself deeper into the story, maybe. Like, where are we going next? Do we really care about discrimination being made up? Because it feels unfinished. There's a point. You need to, like, finish through the history of something, right? But I've already said it's women who get to stop time. So we literally... imagine this scenario. This is pretty cool. Draw a line. We're gonna pick something to draw with now. I always depicted, ever since I started, like, what, a few seconds ago? The moment I talked about sexuality, I immediately picked up, this is women, this is men. And technically, this is also the course of history. Women control the flow of history, too. And what they can do, at any point, is say, screw this, we're going 90 degrees, basically. We're going 90 degrees, we're gonna stop time. It's a very simple trick. If time has its flow, women can easily stop it. So, I easily relate women as controllers of time itself. What is time? What feels like time? I want to laugh at definition of time. Let's first laugh at this. The indefinite continued progress of existence and events. No, that's fine. I knew I couldn't do it. I can only laugh at science. But now I have a habit of what I expect to find. Mr. Google. Give me the definition of a definition. That was the funniest one, by the way. You can look it up. But I'm not sure what kind of video I was making when I made the definition of definition. If I even released it. But let's just keep going. So they control time. They're the ones who pretty much gonna pick up my wish list in the first place. As you can see. They might just pick up everyone's wish list in the end of a cycle of some kind, basically. Right, so if you have this cycle, even just after 5 years, something big happens. So my wish list maybe gets submitted. It's like, oh, more wish list, okay. And this keeps happening in the back end of everything. In the back of everything, you can suspect women of doing a little bit more than they actually meet. Or show you that they're doing. You know, there's so much meditation that goes on of, like, weird behavior. Like, women waste a lot of time. Or are they really? Maybe in the back of their head, they're thinking something. They're brewing something, okay? They're keeping something. And the only thing they can do is makeup. Apply some makeup. No, it's just, there's definitely something brewing all the time. And, I think the most important part, the reason that discrimination is made up is, welcome to reality, guys. Welcome. That's literally the first thing you have to learn in reality. Is like, you get shitty parents sometimes, or you get good parents. Is that discrimination of babies all of a sudden? Do they have to get regulated parents? So, you're literally born in potential discrimination. And people actually suck it up and say, yes, not only that's true, but the baby that you have been born as is gonna be a curse for the rest of your lifetime. And so everyone is seemingly fighting for this discrimination to stop and all these isms to stop. But the reality is we discriminate people who are just bad people. We discriminate bad people. And it's just nature. You will always find that. Okay? You will never be able to protect bad people from discrimination. But then it's like, why women feel bad all the time? It's not their time right now. Time does not even belong to them, even though they follow time so neatly. That's exactly why they don't truly control time. They can't truly control it. They can try and do this and whatever, but actually, whenever they come back, it's almost like going into space journey. And then whenever they come back, it's like, well, you don't look so good. You get a lot of criticism from women for not being as trustworthy as you were right here in this period. All of a sudden you get judged so hard. Women discriminate other women so much more. Okay? Other women way more. Way more than men treat them as objects. Well, yeah, we treat them as statues of liberty, basically. That's how we treat women, okay? And honestly, this is where it all begins. We treat, as men, women as statues of liberty. We can treat them as any way they want as long as they consent to it, okay? You consent to it, you don't run away. You don't say I abused you and trash my name. I can treat you any way I want, okay? That's just how life works. And most of the time, men don't have an ability to approach women. They have to treat them as objects first, okay? As beautiful objects that they never had a chance to interact with. And women love that, because they don't talk to me. Just like men don't really talk to me, but men talk to me and are willing to talk to me more than women. Okay? I'm just saying. Men are winning in this fight of who's gonna out-talk me. I was able to talk to Vector, I was able to talk to some of my friends. Maybe, I mean, men are YouTubers. Celebrities are kind of women. Women are almost like living in old school, too. This is what I found beforehand. Women are almost old school. Somehow. Exclusively old schooled. Because being a celebrity right now is actually old school. Being a celebrity on YouTube is new school. But not a lot of women can actually push through that, into that category. Only new women can do that. For some reason, old women are not trying to do that, who have already gained success. And how could they gain success and keep it in a time where YouTube showed up in the first place to wreck television, all these things? How did they survive all of a sudden? Makes no sense. Unless you realize, well, they're kind of old school. They're kind of waiting for that time stop to actually take their cake. Okay. So, are they waiting for something? And I already said what they're waiting for. But, here you go. This is kind of interesting. We have unpacked discrimination, basically. Find the true meaning of discrimination. Because it's all fake, but it has a bigger meaning, basically. Because it's fake. Because the only thing we can actually pick up is a fake object. So as you can tell, I can repeat this message again. We also pick women as fake. Thus, we treat them as objects. We treat women as if they're gonna run away from us anytime, and that's all we're gonna get for our magic trip, basically. And that's me, because I missed the G part, didn't I? I did. I missed it. Okay. Okay. So discrimination is fake. It's made up. Fake or made up. And you have to understand, we also pick women as well as discrimination. That's what I mean. As objects. Whoopsie daisy, man. So, but if you ask me, if you get offended, I point to the star and suck it up, you fucking asshole. Statue of Liberty. It liberates me just by looking at a statue sometimes. Sometimes masturbation is liberation. I got a little bit offended by the Coomer meme. And at least it only happens every November ever. And it's getting worse every time. I don't know why No Nut November is a thing, but it really scared me. Not because of anything, but it really scared me of like, wait, am I committing some kind of sin? All of a sudden, did people just came together to bookmark a sin out of nowhere? Well, Jews bookmarked masturbation as a sin so badly, they mutilated themselves. But for some reason, like, no, Jews are fine. You know. Maybe Jews got discrimination for, what was that? What is that called? Circumcision. I almost hate the word because it should be called mutilation. Attack of the penises. Well, what happens then? You become more productive, and you become more destructive at the same time. But hey, I can't say anything because Jews, I don't know them. I don't know a single Jew. That's pretty good destruction, I would say. Someone can be Jewish, but, doesn't say anything to me. I just never really felt like Jews actually have a culture in the first place. I never felt Jewish culture. So, I don't know what it is. And I'm pretty much certain that nobody else knows what it is. What is that? What do Jews do? How do you define yourself as a Jew? What do you have to do to be a Jew? Why don't I know that? Why don't I care about that? Okay, I'm not just gonna Google that. I'm not a Hitler. I'm not angry about this. I'm just gonna move on. Because just calling them out is sketchy, man. Calling them out potentially from a hatred standpoint, potentially from you got your discrimination is justified, okay? If people don't like you, it's justified. And somehow, Americans love discrimination, and they actually adopt discrimination as a form of well, you can still be with us, Mr. Jews. We're gonna follow your rules anyways, and the circumcision just spread out like a disease yet again. Every single discriminated culture just finds asylum in America every time. So potentially, well, Donald Trump felt that too and wants to fucking end that shit. He really just destroyed migration as a whole, I would say. It's pretty terrifying to me. Or at least exposed it for being broken and added a little bit more fuel. I don't know. I don't want to dive into politics by any means. I just say what I know. I know circumcision is a terrible idea. And imagine being born with that. That is being born with really bad parents who actually cripple you. Okay? I don't know, man. There's many ways to be crippled, but crippling the body, I think, is the most crippling thing you can do to a person. Wow. The craziest decision you can make for someone. So it's probably good that I don't want to feel Jewish culture, just nobody wants to do it. Just everyone should actually discriminate against them. But discrimination, again, is fake. It's natural. It's a natural occurrence. Let's keep going then. It is kind of weird because now automatically I have to talk about blacks and try and discriminate them as well for just having a different color skin. And technically that's a tough one, isn't it? It's almost the real question is, if you are so discriminated, how dare you make babies? Are you fucking insane, dude? Why are you trying to survive and grasp onto the timeline? Why are you bringing the black culture continuously? If they're the ones suffering, why is it continuing? Why is it still yes? And I saw a lot of black people were well, they are breaking the nuclear family yes, that's the core of the issue, guys. Black people found and exploited the idea of nuclear family. Cool. I know some black families could live successful lives, but a lot of them don't. And I have to like say, yeah, statistically, this is something weird. I don't care about science. I care about why are we talking about it so damn hard when it's not a big part of population. Why it doesn't just disappear? You know? If they feel so discriminated, if they feel so attacked, if their lives matter so much, how dare you pretend you can have a healthy, sustainable family? A sustainable family. Holy shit, dude. You must be insane. Nuclear family idea is that you make a family only when you can sustain it. That's the idea. That's why it's called nuclear. It's like we can resist anything, even a nuclear blast. That's what nuclear family actually means. At least in my eyes. And yet someone fucking took that idea to an extreme version and created a nuclear bomb out of themselves. Instead of a family, they turned into themselves nuclear and spread all over America and actually turned themselves into an actual bomb. What's the problem? You know? You get praised for one last time. Pieces of shit, man. I'm as racist as I can get right now when I say this. You get one last chance to prove you are a good person. Whoever you are. I'm not going to discriminate right now, because I don't care about that. But I understand that black people specifically got a one last chance to prove themselves. And they will not get a single thing more, because it already feels bad for me. It already feels incredibly... And I'm trying to be a very tolerant person when it comes to this shit. But if you feel so discriminated, maybe having black skin actually is bad for you as a person. As a person who wants to make a family, at least. As a person who wants to do something in life, at least. Sacrifice something, okay? When you're being discriminated, you have to start making sacrifices to survive. And I don't see that being made right now. I see the only sacrifice being made is, oh, I'm gonna do some crime now. Well, that's not a sacrifice at all. Okay? That is just sparking fires all of a sudden. You're trying to sacrifice other people. That's not how sacrifices are made. Other people doesn't count as a sacrifice against discrimination. I'm not saying all black people just go out and do crimes. But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that I'm saying that I'm not saying that I'm saying that I'm not saying. You get it? I'm tired of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying, okay? So I don't have to say that I'm not saying, but I'm not saying, but I'm not saying. I'm saying everything right now. Why do I even have to care? This is just as relevant to me as global warming right now. Because I have no friends, no sexuality, no money, no job, nothing, okay? No good parents, nothing. I will never make parents. I will never make a business. I will never try and get any responsibilities done in the life that I have right now. This is my sacrifice. It is very simple for me to fucking wrap my head around this. Why can't other people fucking do it? You know? Nothing. So I will pursue nothing. Why can't you follow up to this? Alright, you want life so badly you're gonna go and commit crime? You really want it! The Americans tease you so badly you want to go out and kill people. Well, American adventures of teasing black people probably just beginning, basically. Because the moment you break your last chance is the moment America starts breaking down black people in a completely next level. Complete next level of slavery is gonna go haywire, basically. The reason why is black people have fire personalities and America is water personality. It doesn't quite mix up. Americans love black people, so they want to like somewhat make it livable for them, but they don't love black people that much. So there's always going to be a natural discrimination that they can't possibly control. They're fighting back against themselves. They are making a sacrifice for an entire country. But they can't do it over and over again just because, okay? If black people can't just be happy, we ended slavery, we can live now a much less discriminating life. If they can't be happy with that, America will continue delivering their wish list, making them come true, but at some point something will break and Americans will realize, oh, well, we're just gonna replace black people with Russians. Hey, Russians, and, you know, at some point, black people are replaced with Russians. Taylor Swift, anyone? Has also very quick name, okay? Very quick name to just run away from America and make you feel like shit. Okay, the way we're gonna handle this situation, just like with coronavirus, the way we're gonna handle science, the final boss, the way we're gonna survive the next 5 years, holy fucking moly, motherfuckers. And I have to prepare myself not just for this, but I have to prepare myself for the time stop, because this is where everything matters. This is where I make the snap mode. Yeah. This is where you get all the magical superpowers. The moment time stops, you get the power of a snap. As Thanos. You want to delete half of the people? Let's go to work. Because this is where time really matters. This is where your input really matters. Okay? You have to now go to actual war. And this is why the endgame actually ended not in a snap, but in a war. As you can tell. This is why I'm gonna put endgame right here. Repeat it. As Taylor, as much as she didn't want it, I don't know what endgame actually means. I don't know what anything means what she does. She's probably very well in tune of how Americans kind of rip her apart. But we're gonna deliver a very simple wish that I have. That she's gonna be able to set herself free. Endgame. This is a quote from Endgame, okay? The moment time stops, you get the power of a snap. So, these motherfuckers, the Avengers, were like, we're gonna time travel and we're gonna receive the same power that you got, Thanos. And Thanos was like, whoa, but I destroyed it. You still recreated all these gems again. That's incredible. So, Thanos is not like the wisest man in the universe. He's like, whoa. My head just got chopped off. But they chopped my head, though. Aww. And so, the war begins again. We all time travel back in time. And apparently everything that happened in the future that was cut off, well, was a time stop. The history got reset. So, at this time, like, people have confirmed their wish list and they wanted to, like, oh, I wanted to go back in time and chop his head off, but he never really died. because you had to go back and it's so fucking twisted. I can't even pull the plot apart. I just know one thing. This is now the grossest movie, I guess. For some reason, that's a name to signify success. What is the gross of this movie? Oh, so gross, very big movie. I like it. Yeah, but Americans are playing a different endgame right now. It's kind of fascinating, I would say. Alright. We're going forward, and I definitely need a goddamn break, but I'll put it right after my first point is made for the next grade. What can possibly be worse than racism going out of control? Racism is just a card being dealt by Americans. Yeah, we don't want to discriminate anyone. That's the whole point. It's like they are virtue signaling that I don't want to discriminate. I want to be a good white person. You know, it's a very simple deal, but it's just a card. Okay. Essentially, Americans are fake crying a card. I don't want to discriminate, but I have to. It's my duty to discriminate. You know, it is. Some Americans on left or right, they start recognizing, oh, if I try to stop discrimination, I have to start a different discrimination. So that technically, I have no choice. I just have to make sure that the discrimination is as natural as possible. So the choice that I make is as easy to make as possible. There is no choice, because you're going to create more discrimination, and it's probably going to get even worse. Because you're feeding into discrimination. You're trying to discriminate discrimination and create a different discrimination against those who don't discriminate discrimination. So all of a sudden, you're in a messed up situation. I'm just saying. Okay. Okay. That's my first point. I can't really put a brick here. I just finished what we started. And, yeah, at some point the time will stop. The Russians will rush in. We all want to travel and break walls and be friends with each other. Okay. So, this is why Americans have a very good representative. If someone hates China and loves Russia, you have received a perfect representative for yourself. You couldn't have made a better choice. And they love it too, because they talk about it so much. They put so much effort towards Donald Trump. So he must be perfect for you guys. And some people just can't wake up to American culture. American culture is very twisted. So basically, Americans can probably, in the power of snap, they can just change their minds. From left, they're gonna go to right, and vice versa. They can go to center. They can do whatever. But they have to kind of be able to navigate in that power of snap, even though they can switch sides very quickly. I think very recently, Drudge Report changed sides. How did this happen? And I say that it's easier than you think to switch sides. It is easier than you think. As I've said, left is about giving outrageous ideas, and right is about making those outrageous ideas pointed out as outrageous. Laugh at it. Make fun of it. Try and destroy them just purely with exaggeration. Okay? Left makes outrageous ideas, and right tries to exaggerate them into a pop. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know how to type outrageous because I don't like E's, okay? And I'm not gonna take an E for this one. Because that's outrageous. What the fuck? Why do you need an E? Outrage? Is. So you have an entire word, outrage, and then outrage, Fuck you guys. English is stupid anyways. Right should be constantly fighting English as a language. They should be constantly fighting technology as being sometimes broken, sometimes not working correctly for them. You know, they should find different things to fight about instead of politics. This is why left and right are both terrible type of people. And what they have to learn in the background, if they want to survive, they need to be able to switch sides instantly. Because at some point we're going to realize, oh, politics is garbage in its entirety. Okay, it doesn't have a good representative anymore. Everything is horrible and not interesting anymore. So let's wash it away. And then you have to be able not to just switch from left to right, you also have to be able to switch to the outside point of view of a person who doesn't understand anything that's going on at all. Just clueless. What is racism? What does that mean? You have to be able to do that to yourself. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do that, though. If you strongly stand on something. Well, you can strongly stand on ice if you want. We're just gonna melt it and wash you away, big boy. I don't know. If something is like 5, imagine you stand on something and it turns to cold ice. What's next? You're just gonna stay there? Your ideas are not interesting or important. What are you gonna do? Just gonna still stand and protect your ideas? Stand your ground? You have to move. This is the definition of where you have to move because you're not going to survive anymore. The landscape will keep on changing. And honestly, this is another scary little thing. You combine all these scary things together, I mean, how the fuck do I hold this in my head? But I don't hold it in my head. I can only unleash it in this format where I really explain you what's up, boys. What is up? What I have been observing throughout the deadlight of my existence. Because technically now I see. If you lived a deadlight, especially I'm living a double deadlight. So imagine that. I lived a double deadlight. So I was talented and AdventureCraft just fell apart and shut down. I am creative now and I have 0 people who are willing to talk to me. Maybe I wasn't talented enough? What happened? You know, everything fell apart and I don't have anything. My life fell apart. I was in this graduation situation of the end of 2018. I felt everything and nothing actually happened. I felt all kinds of crazy emotions that I had to deal with. And I wasn't able to make rant videos that easily at that moment. But because I was doing something else so much weirder than that. And again, I felt like I was under attack for many days. I sometimes couldn't sleep, which is ridiculous. Sometimes I couldn't sleep because I was hearing voices, and those voices were not just someone else talking, it was me talking. through a loudspeaker. Like, the experience was so fucking crippling. I lived through a double deadlight. Your wish list is it, I think. I think I have incredible power right now. Because technically, I've spent a lot of life, okay? I should be rich, but I'm not. Simply because society is structured in a way to deadlight me. You know, to bring me down. Regardless of how smart I am, of how willful I am to live, I will always end up in a way where I'm not appreciated, so I actually do want to die. And then the graduation was kind of like healing me, but also uplifting me at the same time. Giving me the craziest spotlight, but I never really saw the spotlight. So it was a deadlight this whole time. I was being killed yet again. Just like Adventurecraft was killed, I was being killed. Now very directly. I was standing on my own as a creator. As graduation to become a creator. Now I was standing like this. And being ripped apart. But now I can stand up. And after I have broken down the experience itself, after I put down the shields, and you can't break me again. Not the same way anymore. Now I have way too much power on my hands. Way too much power, believe me. But it took me so long. And now we're gonna try and understand what exactly do I have? What exactly do I want? And how easy it is for this to happen. Because usually the time stop doesn't want to stop for too long, but at the same time it will recognize all the great wishes and they will perpetuate the wish. If it's good, it's going to be perpetuated, so it has to be perfect for it to almost like last an entire lifetime, potentially. Potentially I can just transcend everything. How the fuck does a 25-year-old transcend anything? No, obviously. I will start making mistakes, and I'll just be a pretentious, decent person that someone else need to contribute as well. Obviously. It's just super obvious things, but I don't know how to enter this just yet. So, yeah, this is a very, very tough thing to open up. We are at first hour starting up, and we're probably gonna hit an X. I'll take a break right now. So I'm watching right now. Oh, actually it's 7. I would even reset it, I think. Some part of me wants to reset it entirely. Fucking annoying. Don't make breaks, guys. Unless you finish the entire lesson. Well, forward. I'm watching DS documentary. It's actually 2020 release, or at least planned for 2020. Plant a fucking seed. Annoying. Okay, it's too convenient for me. Because the next year I plan to like dedicate everything to that fire person that made it. And it could have been Avril Lavigne. Except she's not actually relevant. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this person? Of course I wanted to replace it immediately when I had the chance. And it's like, oh, the Teardrop Princess. Well, hello there. I misjudged Taylor. Because everyone called her a snake, and actually, like, that really hurt her personality, basically. So much that, wow, even I couldn't have predicted that. My ability to just figure out who's narcissistic is gonna be so crippled. My judgment is gonna be so missed on a really great opportunity, which I'm glad I have. You know, I might be watching this, but I am so lucky, okay, to get that information processed in the most powerful manner, because like I accept her in my team. Congratulations, you made it. Wow. Imagine this, right? Imagine all the shows and everything coming to a close, and you have all these people taking awards. And when you take an award, Taylor describes it as feeling empty. And I actually, after I reached my first X, I'm like, for some reason I thought to myself, God just didn't tell me when I called 911, what is your emergency? Someone is trying to kill themselves. Well, let them do it. What's the problem? You know, you don't have a problem. You have to make a problem. You have to get to know that person. Now, if you actually know this person, you can call me. You probably want to save something of yourself, not him, necessarily. So this is a tricky situation. It's very difficult to save other people. You can save yourself. You can understand when you draw a bridge and make a relationship, you can pull on that bridge and bring them back to life because you want it right now. You want to try and kill yourself? I have legal reason not to let you do that because you're my kind of person, okay? Technically, if I see someone trying to kill themselves, because I can recognize their personality quickly enough, that is beyond luck, okay? I might be one of the rare people who can save suicidal ones. And we're literally just diving into another type of darkness. Because I can quickly recognize who these people are. I can quickly read them. I can quickly relate to them instantly because I was kind of suicidal a little bit. Especially when graduating is like, oh, what is this thing? What are all these feelings? This is insane. What are you fucking feeding me? And where is it coming from anyways? It was unstoppable. And I still don't know what it was. You know? Just like when you win an award, you don't know what it is. Because you didn't create it. This is how Taylor describes herself. I mean, this is what kind of triggers this message in the first place. You get an award, and you have nobody to call. That is empty. Why people are so empty is what was the next, almost like the quest that God gave me. So it's almost like, well, I did the event with Ariana, the greatest event. Might as well now picked up a hint of what the next greatest event is gonna be. Is this it? Are we gonna make it to the X again? Now, I didn't make it till the X since the second time I did it. Every person that comes, obviously every X is a star. But every new person that comes to my life will be treated better than the last. Which is so terrifying. Because now it's a fucking curse. I'm not gonna put a star in here though. It's not like I just invite her in my life. That doesn't mean she is in my life, but technically she is because I'm watching her documentary, so on and so forth. This was the second X, almost like a hidden curse. I'll have to treat them better because each time is progressive. Okay, it's just I can't help it, obviously. The next year is going to be better than the last year. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So now I'm preparing for a different kind of year. A year where things are going to get very awkward. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'll start making music out of the blue. I know it's going to shock some people, and I know it's going to make some people nostalgic because I had hidden talents and I didn't really unleash them, and like it's gonna be the best time for that because every year is the most extreme bullshit ever. So like, okay, I'll go down that path. Right now I'm kind of like semi-comfortable with my life, but I don't have anything. So it's almost like, oh, I'm ready for a relationship with a very rich person because they will change my life immediately. Otherwise, if I had too many things, I would have just enough doubt, even though it's so small, just enough doubt to probably reflect that relationship on unwillingly. It's possible. See, holding on a job, it gets harder and harder the bigger your heart is. And I'm like, well, that's smart. The only thing I have to do is cripple myself tirelessly and grow my heart as much as I possibly can until no one stands a chance. And I will get what I want in the end, whatever that might be. Whatever is possible to get in the first place, like I might not get exactly what I want because a wish list is just a wish list. You can get tricked. But here you go. There is no cheat the system moment, but you should not work when you are feeling the heart pain. Because essentially, the heartbreak that's gonna happen in the workplace is gonna probably at least destroy the entire workplace eventually, okay? When it happens, people have to leave. When it fully commits into action, it's over, basically. There's no way, man. People don't respect heartbreaks. Are you fucking kidding me? There's no fucking way they don't respect it. They can ignore most of them and pretend they're not happening. We can still move forward. That you're not important. We can still move forward. But they can't really disrespect the heartbreak. Because while you're ignoring things, you're growing incredible fear that you're not going to tolerate something. So, far people are trying to tolerate everything, but ignore it at the same time. Because they feel like they have, compared to everyone else, because they tolerate a lot of things, they have ability to ignore those things. But the crazy switch happens. It's almost like a pun for Taylor Swift to become a switch. Taylor Switch! I was quick so I could switch now. Now I can switch all the time. About anything. Ever. Even switch my career. How about that? So this is an inch closer to what I'm going to say about my dream. Until I get the actual dream into my mind, until I actually make it in the dream world, and see it that way, then I'll be very, very sure that this is supposed to be on my wish list. See, like, I have to respect my dream world as well. I have to respect, like, the ability to control reality, because dreams always allow you to control it, but sometimes you just give up to it. So, while this wildest dreams scenario replays, Taylor Swift might as well be Switch. Why not? Just spice things up over and over again. I don't need the ending part anyways. I just need the T, the L, and S to form 13. I don't know why. She likes it. Okay, fuck it. The rest can go to hell. Alright. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. It's gonna be a lot for me to process. I'm not gonna lie. But while I'm making music, potentially I will make less rants. Who knows? I just don't know what's gonna happen. But it's something that I have to do to be able to compete against these people and show them that they're losers, okay? They have to bow down to me. I have all this power. So, finally next year I will set myself on fire and show how much power I have. I wanted to say really have, but I felt like I'm gonna break this. So how much power I really have. Congratulations. Technically, that's what happened, maybe? Because it's a mixed feeling. If you go back all the way of what triggered this video, what if Taylor Swift kind of mixed feelings for Selena and she's like, oh, but why are these feelings so fresh every time, right? Like, it makes no sense. I think she's being set on fire. And essentially... essentially, maybe she even broke the bond. Who knows, man? Without knowing what kind of bond she was breaking. It's like, lose you to love me. What did you lose? Because Justin Bieber was pretty far away at that distance, you know? Like, what did you lose? I'm just saying. This is so fucking twisted. And I've said why. But I don't think I can forward this idea into anything. I have questions. Damn, it actually fixes the name. Tail. Or be quick, basically. Tail someone. Or be quick. So I'm kind of tailing most of these singers right now. And once she switches, you can't be quick anymore. Right, it's like it's over. The competition's over. I'm sorry about that. But that's kind of cool. It's a really cool name. I'm very chilled by this snake. Okay, what a snacky. What else are we gonna move forward with? Because I need to reveal this, and I need it to be natural reveal. The gender reveal. No, it's like the dream job reveal. What I want other people to be doing. Yeah. Now it's like what the next dream would be. Because yeah, Taylor can brag as many times that she feels like in a dream. but she probably feels like in someone else's dream. It's like, well, I should feel very good about myself because everyone would want to do this, right? Express themselves, amplify their voice. Yeah. Isn't it funny? My dream is to amplify my voice and see what happens. You know, if you really want science, just put me with enough subscribers to have a certain type of voice, power level of voice. Or maybe even voice is your power, you know? So this is why music to me is the entrance to power level check, basically. Hey Vegeta, what is his power level? Wait, Nappa, we're still coming down to Earth. Remember? His power level is gonna be... He can train for an entire year, so yes. Vegeta is coming down, boys. We got him. We got him, man. Super Saiyan mode. Oh, man. I'm still a monkey. I still have a tail. Oh, man. So funny. Dragon Ball Z jokes never over. So we're halfway there, time-wise. Pretty much halfway there, grade-wise. But not quite, because it gets harder each time, each step of the way. And we don't have a very specific enemy, right? I'm just kind of in a dream world, wanting to do things for myself. Obviously, Spawned is a pretty big dream, but it involves programming, it involves hard work. Singing is just self-expression. It should be easy for me, you know? There's certain talents I neglected music making because it's too easy and it doesn't actually reward you immediately. And not quite rewarding. Only women were capable of taking the highest spotlights of music, obviously. After it has been established, after they have stopped time and figured it out for themselves, finally we figured out that it's just women that dominate this thing. Or politics. Politics can also dominate, but that's just like a faceless human being that can be replaced easily, just like T-Series can be replaced with Taylor Swift. Yes, thank you. Nice switch right there. So the switch is like, oh, this name does not even exist. It's just she's just a witch. Holy fucking crap, dude. What? No. Okay, that was close though. I thought like T turned into the ch thing, and the chi actually would be like the coin, like a cent. In my new language, okay, but that not supposed to make any sense to you anyways. So you can kind of replace one letter with another letter, right? 5 letters, 5 letters. If you use the new language. Lithuanian, okay? Lithuanian has their own ch sound. Congratulations, guys. Nice to meet you. So technically she changed F into a ch. Or she changed F into a T and T into a ch. But anyways, she's a fucking witch now. Congratulations, Taylor. No longer have to be a snake. A snake witch, maybe. What a snake witch. Alright, we need some black magic. I think 8 ball is good enough. Ball? 8 ball. There you go. Yeah, it's 8 next to a 9. What a snake. This is black magic right there. I fucking hate it. Fuck. Switch. What's gonna be our next point? Or do I have to really take a break now? Again. Just got smashed. I can take a break by playing some Hearthstone, but it's still a break. No question about it. I have definitely exhausted a lot of things already. So technically, you can see all this public unrest is just some easy resource to burn through. Congratulations, guys. Your political views are just making me stronger. Now I have something to say. Now I have nothing to say because you're not strong enough. You're not out there smashing me with stuff. I have to watch more of the documentary. Maybe I'll find one more point that I can make. But yeah, the award makes her quite empty. That's fine. Just like everyone else is empty if they have nobody to brag with. But even when you have a boyfriend and he doesn't care that much, or he doesn't understand, you want to avoid such people. And you want to break through from those relationships because they're not working out. So the question is, I'm gonna lock myself up. Can I understand these girls better than anyone else? Yes or no? This is what we're trying to unlock. Yes or no? All eyes on me, motherfucker. I can't say I don't know. I just have never started music. Okay? I can't say I don't know. I can definitely solve this. I'm definitely smart enough to understand things. So, that's a good start. I understand a lot of things, and I easily identify personalities, and yet Taylor Swift stabbed me in the back so badly, I couldn't identify her personality correctly, and that was detrimental to my ability for this to unlock the lock, basically. This does not unlock the lock. I have to go deeper. You bastard. Oh my god. Can I understand these girls now? So I can't use just, I know who you are, basically. That doesn't work. Usually it works. Usually I know who you are, so I'm gonna relate you to this group of people. But it didn't work this time. Especially when these girls are better. And now it's obvious why. They're also very tricky sometimes. They pick up trends that just doesn't make sense. Alright. That's cool. Yeah, it just... Taylor being political also makes no sense. It's a win thing to do. But she's not a win personality. And yet, all of this is kind of weird. I think she picked up wind as a means of survival in an American landscape. She's not exactly... even with the spotlight, she shouldn't exactly feel in the right place, maybe. At very least, it's a very difficult thing to handle. I'm not sure why, but like... Besides the personality dynamic. But it's good that she picked up the wind to defend herself and hide her person. All of these things worked out. But now I know too much at the same time. So, but I think the best thing, I have time and I am giving it up for them exactly. You know? Is that good enough? Well, no, because they have producers, they have people. All of a sudden, you see, we're trying to break down their entire circle of existence of who is protecting them by making them famous in the first place. So just because I have time and I'm giving up for them and I understand their personalities, all you have to understand is like they're good people. So technically you can move forward past these two locks and still not unlock whether you're the better person than anyone else, the best one, the best pick. That's a like pick, man. I am relentless though. I will not give up. If I see something like this, I want it. I want to beat it most of the time because I literally have nothing else to do. But that's not good enough. So what is better than that? What have I been doing that actually would help me in this case even further? Do these people have more than just production quality stuff? Well, they have connections now in celebrity worlds. You're interconnected. But that at the same time, it should trigger me to know exactly what I am doing. Okay? I'm definitely interconnecting them at the same time. I'm bouncing around and reading every little connection they have left, technically. Once you strip away all the people that helped fame, not much is left. So, helped fame occur. See, the trick is to understand how to not increase someone's fame, how to not contribute myself towards someone's fame, how to actually, in a way, steal it. Right? It's not like it's not a dream. It's presented as a dream, so of course I want it. Like, there's absolutely nothing that I can say to say no. Okay. Can I understand these girls better than anyone else? But I still haven't unlocked this. Because this probably goes even deeper than that. Goes deep, 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 deep. And I finally have something to fucking solve. However, so you must want fame for yourself. So you understand, I have broken all these connections because these are famous people that are trying to connect. Now, we're talking about solely the fan base. The fan base that the artist allows even closer than anyone else have made it this far. Only the fan base has survived to this point. So, I have done that too. I have worked on Minecraft and Hearthstone, and these two games got banned. I've broken them completely. But they are not dead by any means. They can come back and punch me back. But at this moment, at this very moment, I hold these games hostage. Perhaps just to make one point forward, one step forward than any other fan could ever do. Because you need to interlock yourself in something else entirely, and I change my mind, then I look into, oh, I can just jump into a fan base if I want to. So you must understand, that, but again, I just brought down a lot of fans as well into this a terrifying world of, do you know what it's like to be famous though? And why you want it? Because yeah, you can appreciate Taylor, but like, see, that's the whole point. The trick is, don't stare at the sun. Okay? Figure it out first. I have a very pure reason why I'm staring at the sun right now, and how long I'm gonna stare at the sun. But you have to figure out for yourself what exactly you want, why you're in a certain fan base. So all these fans, now they have to question themselves. Now they have to find different entry points and redefine what they want exactly without using the straightforward path. So all of a sudden I am losing them. It's almost like a fucking race, as you can tell. There's the starting point of, I have a car, I will have enough time to participate in a race, I am not afraid of failing a few times and falling down a few times. Just because you have a better bike than I do doesn't make you a better rider, okay? As you can tell, the race is not one-dimensional. It's not straightforward. Sometimes falling down will make me think if there is a better way to do things. But of course, so yeah, this is a very important point. If you have a bike too good, you will take it for granted and you fall down. You're like, no, I can still use the bike, even if it's broken a little bit. You will not double think, and you're going to be attached to your bike much more than you're going to attach to wanting fame anymore. You're going to want to try and fix your bike, but actually, to get to the fame, you almost need to be completely alone. Because that's what fame is going to do. Is like, it's going to make you stand out. To truly handle fame, you need to be alone. You will stand out quickly, let's say. And it's a very destructive force to everyone around you who can stand out. But yeah, the moment someone becomes famous, just like Justin Bieber, someone has to catch them immediately. I guess that kind of happened, but all of a sudden it's just a narrative that just came back again. Okay, came back again. So almost in the end, something, just a tiny little bit of a prick matters. Okay. Remember, you must love haters more than people who just love you. People who just love you, they just embrace who you are and burn you in the spotlight of fame. You don't want to be burned in the spotlight. You want to fucking shut it down, boys. You want to flick the switch anytime. Any fucking time. So, love the haters way more. It's what Jesus said. And that's exactly a point of its own. This is what Jesus said. Okay? If Jesus can say that and become famous, yes. Yes, thank you. Than anyone else. No one's better than Jesus anyway, so fuck yeah, dude. If I can get to his level, I'ma take it. I'ma be savage right there. Oh man. Alright, we played with a little luck. We played a little race. What else is gonna trigger an entire... What else do I care about anyways? I think I care about taking a break. Maybe I should just put a brick like this. Forget about it. Fuck it. It's too big, man. It's so big. I'll do this instead. Look how cool that is. It's really cool. Just a brick. Why should it occupy a point of some kind? As if I'm trying to harm it or something. And whenever I feel I have a point, I just edit this out. And let's go. Alright. I'm emptying out myself. It's like, you can see how expensive this is. Yet another rant video. And these are super expensive to make. Because you have to find all of these things you want to say, and all of a sudden you're entering the total emptiness. I've said all of these things, didn't I? Wow, and all of them are connected together. But there's still more. I'll still find more. I still find diamonds. Still digging. Not giving up. So one thing I did is play a little bit more Hearthstone. But as much as entertaining it is, it obviously makes you question, is like, are you really spending time properly? But this is only probably because this 3 hours is literally power focus ritual stuff. I'm focusing my power and trying to observe how much of it there actually is. It's quite stamina requesting thing. Regardless whether I just have to do it in a day, right? I just have to have 3 hours of content in a day. Fill up and answer all the questions I might have, or all the concerns. So I feel good about something. So I truly break it. But I got nothing, man. I'll have to enjoy the entire documentary and be triggered. I literally have to be dragged into this, because or Hearthstone is very evil and fries my mind basically, so I got nothing. Because I didn't even try. It's almost like I just woke up. And yeah, every time I put a brick, I have to restart everything. Get up to speed. Maybe get some tears out. Understand what kind of things I still want to know about. That's kind of the important part, I think. Alright, the documentary's finished. Obviously, I had initial criticism immediately. It's like, Taylor's really jumps into politics fast, explosively. And obviously, if you're on my team, you're gonna be re-educated real quick. Politics is garbage. It's not worth focusing on. Absolutely. You can handle it for a little bit of time, and actually you can feel like you're empowering people of something, but in the end, you're playing into a trap. Exactly the same trap as science. Science feels empowering at first, and yet it takes away our freedoms and starts regulating us. This is the only way science can actually perform its, well, change in society. And I love how Taylor quickly says, oh, we have to fight fascism. Where is fascism? What are you talking about? This is fucking stupid. Something like that, okay? Nobody likes fascism. Is 100% negative. I love how people invent these words. I love people constantly inventing 100% negative words. They don't exist, okay? If they're 100% negative and you don't have to doubt what you're talking about. I don't have negative words in my vocabulary, okay? Like, even saying stupid, I would immediately doubt myself. Can I apply it to someone? I can't say a negative word to anyone, honestly. I can try and condescend their self-esteem, to try and pull it down, to give them a ride like a child would have. Okay, I shrink them down into a tiny child, give them a ride, shrink them back up, see if they fucking change their mind about something. Because that's the best way to do it, is to minimize their self-esteem, then they will be amazed about everything. And, well, Taylor, for me right now, is a funny little target for my self-esteem, because I have to fight the entire next year if I intend to musically express myself all of a sudden. I've never done that, but I've always groomed the capacity to do it. And I always feel every single time I can empower myself with my own voice. Just the music that comes out. You have no idea. But I have no idea how to actually put it into a computer space. I have to do everything myself. And if I can do it just as good or even better than pop stars, fuck it, dude. I'm a winner in my own book. I'm a winner. No one can stand a chance at this point. If I can do my dream come true, a dream that nobody even thought I would conceive of, be a magician, what is that? Well, it's not about magician at all. As you can see, if Taylor can go to politics, then I can go from politics to music. It's almost like, oh, you open the portal, thank you. I'll use it and spit on your face for opening a portal. That's not cool at all. You could have done a different deal, but we have what we have. I'm not gonna complain. Just gotta work now a little bit harder. Because I am, after all, in a double deadlight. Everything I do is quantifiably more than just a simple payment. It's a payment in terms of what I really get, what opportunities I really get, and how convincing I am as a person. I think that's gonna change. I make a documentary every single time I sit down here. Well, I can brag about that, but I definitely change people's minds a lot more, even without the visual appeals. Because essentially the visual story of the documentary was nothing. Okay, it was mediocre at best. At worst, if you're not interested in Taylor Swift, it was too much of her. And but I am interested, so this is why I allowed myself to even watch it in the first place. There are very interesting hidden costs. Referencing documentary. consumed. There's a hidden cost of this. You better like Taylor Swift in that fucking moment. That's the only way you can open that door. And regardless, my ability to open this door, I'm still the loneliest piece of junk person ever. Okay, I don't know when my fucking star comes down. Okay, so what I want is a star to come down. Just you go to politics. Maybe you can split your soul and go to another place that is even darker than the politics. Okay. You know, like, sure, you can call a woman a bitch or a slut. For someone who never really dipped their toes into a completely opposite world and tried to fix it from within. See, I get it. Taylor Swift might not actually have incredible courage, but she has the courage to do things that she likes, which is enough courage for me, okay? So the only thing I have to do is recognize that once I make her like and pursue something, maybe I can just drag her away from politics, or use it as a resource, yet again, politics as a resource to push her into a completely opposite side of where she might have to actually be to have much greater influence. I don't even care about this stuff. If you are in politics, chances are you can be pushed somewhere else. That's all I'm gonna say. I need a light. Alright. So, 1 hour left, and I am revealing what I want. What did Jesus said? Okay, this is what Jesus said. Taylor should be a porn star. Try and digest that for a second. The creepiness, that feeds her all of a sudden. It's like, wow, I don't have to do this exhausting fight against people and their opinions and their anger. I don't have to fight that. I have to fuel myself with their hatred and do something so outrageous, so breaking reality, that people will start thinking for themselves again instead of throwing their hate outside. The moment people stop hating and start thinking. Yeah, it's my proposal, my wish list. It's a little switch, okay? A tiny little switch. You turn it on. Someone changes their mind. Oh, I shouldn't do politics. I should be doing the other PO. I did the POP. Now I need to do PON PORN. Oh no. Man, this almost a point in on itself. Taylor Swift is a star now. Okay, not politics star. I'm sorry, please. There's not enough letters for politics. You can say pop. I'm okay with that. But you have to now do a big peep in there. Add a big peep in there. There you go. So, can you imagine? Because in order to do politics, you have to say to yourself, in order to dive into politics, you admit that you can't influence other ways anymore. You kind of give up. This is why you should be scared of diving in there. And I'm not expecting Taylor Swift to be actually that interested anyways. I'm kind of concerned. It's almost like the Justin Bieber mode. Oh, what a stupid relationship. What a broken heart. But you still dove into that shit anyways. Well, fuck you, man. But that's what women are. They hide their feelings until they break them. The feelings they leak out anyways, and they understand it's kind of inevitable. But the thing they want to do is like control it a little better, be way more prepared for it, which is absolutely fine, because as we saw, stopping time is also a magical move to prepare the entire humanity. I would say stopping time is about preparing and healing wounds. Preparing humanity. And healing wounds. Yeah, so making sure that everyone's secure with the change that's about to happen. It's absolutely it is. It's absolutely like this. You gotta be prepared. So, can we stop time and prepare everyone to accept the new Taylor all of a sudden? To snap fingers in 5 years, maybe? What about that? Because technically, Taylor immediately, the moment she dives into politics, she realizes the spotlight is not on her anymore. She's battling something else entirely now. She's losing the spotlight immediately the moment she dives into politics. Except, you can keep your spotlight, apparently, as long as you decide to still be influential, in a way, without regrets. Technically, she would be on some kind of neutral light. I'm not remembering. Lazy light, and then there is moonlight. So she would be on the moonlight, but it kind of allows her to do her own personalized spotlight. And technically, I don't see her as a conventional porn star, obviously. I see her as someone who can actually empower women all of a sudden, because you're now directly influencing something completely different, and you're sacrificing your stardom for it. Okay. All of a sudden, you are expanding your influence. And of what kind of people you're reaching out to. And, well, consuming your stardom. I don't think you should still claim the spotlight as it's yours, as your tier 2 creator that has been super successful, because you have to share success with a lot of people. Even when you're a manager or whatever, and you're not getting ripped off, almost a manager, you're intimidating managers to stay away from your work, you are still going to be intimidated by people who need you to pay them. Okay? You have all these crowds of people surrounding you, swarming you with asking you to pay them to be a part of your universe. But eventually, spotlight starts fading, and you'll have to make very tough decisions, especially if you're willing to be a manager in this situation. Holy fucking crap. You don't want to feed people spotlight constantly. But what you can do is challenge them by moving forward into this moonlight phase. Because now you're entering politics, and politics is all about science, boys. It's all about completely different and separate problem that's wind-based. Taylor is fire personality. They can unite and start becoming problematic together, and that would be very, very evil for her to do. Because imagine if the sun was just as dangerous as the moon. Well, the other way around. If the moon was dangerous as the sun, would keep you up, would heat you up, and kind of make you go restless and crazy. Because the sun is always up there. You don't want the second sun, basically, effect. Where some celebrities just grow up praising politics. This is, again, a good choice to make, but a bad choice to dive into after a while. Yes, you make up your mind, you become a manager, and you understand, well, government is really suppressing a lot of people and making decisions that make no sense. But essentially, the biggest encouragement is to move around. Don't be stationary. Government wants to lock you down. So the best way to fight against that, move to places that are more suitable for you. And Taylor actually would do better influence by allowing at least her fan base to come together and be like, move around into better locations. It's kind of weird because that's probably the only way, the best way to fight against the government is unite and start moving around. The human beings, run away, shut down businesses, show that you're very concerned. You don't want to be a part of this thing, but moving around is really tough. I'm not sure how it works at all. So, saying it as a solution, I hate myself for it, but I just know that that's a very good fighting back mechanism. You just kind of trying to run away from people who are trying to control you. Fight back as much as you can, but then you have to move. After you fight your fight, okay? You have to be willing to give up once you end your fight. And there's so much you can fight until you stop being peaceful. Okay, and start being demanding, needy, and all these fucking crazy things that you're not supposed to have as a human being because you're only gonna get in trouble. Right? Fight your fight, that's fine. But do it peacefully. And the moment that ends, you have to move. You're the one who has to move. And technically, I think that is the weapon of choice for government. Turn you to evil. The government's sitting there patiently and is waiting until you become evil. It's literally doing that. Because you will give up all the powers by doing so. You will break your family apart. You break your abilities apart. And I think that's the warfare that really is going on. It's all about trying to intimidate you to become evil, to consent to evil, to do fights that you're not supposed to be fighting because you're hurting other people. Once you stop recognizing that part, government has you, and now you're the part of a problem too. And here you go. That's pretty dark. We're pretty deep now. We're getting into the S rank, and we're gonna close this down as the X. Did I really say she's a porn star and just leave it there? Do I really not feel anything right now? You have to understand very much what the fans want. Where can you use your courage? I gave a very, very cheap way out. Okay? Something that everyone can do. And if you have enough courage, you can deal with it. Even though it's super cheap and almost like destruction of your fan base, destruction of you as a celebrity anymore. People might think of you as less of a person than more of a person because you expanded yourself. But that's just the fear of losing things and not calculating yourself that you're gonna gain a lot from doing it at the same time. You're gonna challenge your fan base, first of all, and then you're gonna challenge the people to accept you who have never really looked at you quite, or never were really interested in you. That's a big jump. Because one thing for a courage person to do, I mean, one thing I admire they are willing to be first, okay, to do something. Something that I need in my life. You know, I want people to change their behavior just a little bit, then my life might be able to change too. It's not like I'm frozen, but that's kind of how it works. I don't have the personality that melts me out of the grasps of being cool and smart. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit of your smarts just to move forward. It's paralyzing. But I don't want to be knocked out. I want to just warmly accept new people in my life and new opportunities and find where I should go to do that without wasting too many resources, without trying too hard, where I can be accepted. I don't know where to start. You know, it's a real world we're talking about. It's not my specialty. I'm not supposed to lose my personality over this. I'm supposed to expect people to understand this, because they themselves are struggling just as I am, until they figure it out. That we're all stuck, essentially, in our mindsets, in our way of doing things. We get stuck so easily and immediately, almost. The only thing we can do is do it better than everyone else, and do it in a more influential way, and we end up like spreading out quite a bit, but essentially someone wins in the end anyways. It's kind of weird. There's no reason to give up on yourself if people just win, you know, and you recognize who are the winners. They haven't changed their personalities jack shit. Sometimes they're even more evil than they seem to be able to be. All the way up there, they seem to be evil. But it's just your relationship to them. Because you have to fight back to be able to see how good they really are. You know, if you're just an evil little person, you will project evil everywhere. You're not going to see a difference in the world. But the moment you start trying to climb, the difference starts making itself clear too. People who have been so high now become your idols, because you see them now, you can reach up to them, you know what to follow all of a sudden, you know what to tail, okay, And know you know what to switch to. So Taylor switch, motherfuckers. Follow your idols. Remember that. Taylor switch. It's gonna make life a lot easier. Okay? And ask them to just do something stupid for you. So they're your idols. And they can't go back in that nasty world that they constantly have to battle alone. You know, just let's do something stupid. That's what I'm offering here. Let's do something so stupid that we will learn how to be smart again. All over again. We'll just learn that. We'll just be so curious. All of a sudden. We're not just going to be like, oh, it's definitely this kind of politics is wrong and this kind of politics is right. No. I demand to be challenged. For someone to be challenged. To make them curious. Small. And if they trust me, they will do it. They will be influenceable just as I was, you know, chasing them and tailing them, trying to reach out. They will relax and start growing in a different way, you know. It gets harder and harder. There's less and less resources, especially if you're the only one doing it for yourself. You never really relax and pick up your own idols. The ones who, you know, push faster than you, take you down. Let people take you down. It's just easier that way. Find someone to chase. Essentially. If constantly being on the first place, constantly being a celebrity, someone people celebrate all the time, and it's like it's getting numb. It's getting repetitive. Of course you want to one-up yourself and reinvent yourself to trick people that they still need to celebrate you for something. But sometimes your image has to completely break and shatter in front of them. And celebration isn't always the answer anyways. You have to know how to celebrate in the first place. You know? You have to know how to follow someone, even in the darkest turns of their history. So I would love to be challenged this way, because I'm way more closer to porn and respecting porn than just watching pretty girls dance and sing. Wow. And pretend that this is my highest self-esteem. Or highest self-esteem. E-team. Fuck. Well, I can't just pretend my highest self-esteem is girls singing and dancing. Because essentially what ends up happening is I get sucked into the wormhole of TikTok. And you know, wormhole of TikTok is innocent girls singing and dancing. What if they figure out how to do it all by themselves without any help of filters? That's the moment where, you know, I define something. I define my self-esteem, and now I have to keep on looking at these girls and keep looking for something that I like. But maybe I can settle down already. Like, Jesus Christ, maybe I figured it out. Now, again, it's outrageous. But I'm starting to piece more and more reasons for this to happen. Just like I normally do. At some point it just becomes inevitable. Which is quite ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous, but the ridiculous part is that just to become a porn star, all you have to do is just do something sexual on the camera and not be completely outer world about it. Like, there's already a huge wall being built of sexuality, so when I actually talk about it, wait, there is a wall? There's a wall that I have to cross, so this is why I didn't cross the wall. I talked about gay people, and you know, that's fun and heartwarming, and rainbows and unicorns. What happens when you have to talk about sex actually seriously? Sexuality. You're not supposed to be in here, Taylor. What? What are you doing here? And so we have to list 10 reasons why she should do it and should try and break this wall. Because essentially, just dipping your toes and allowing yourself to be nude whenever you want as a celebrity, I think it has its perks. Okay? You can start influencing people so fucking deeply all of a sudden. Just by leaking your nudity, whatever. I mean, people have to build different walls if they want to protect their children. You know, it's about time. You have access to anything right now. Anything and everything. So, the best thing to do is to actually challenge people and figure out what they do. What are they gonna do? Because some other celebrity is gonna start doing crazy shit and take advantage of this. So why not, like, the most nicest person ever? Someone that they really can't attack. Okay. You can't actually attack Taylor for this. She's nice person. Okay. Not only she looks nice, and holy shit, I would explode if this happens, but she just portrays herself as a nice person. It's like, well, when do I break my walls, you know, like, when do I become a fucking big person and allow sexuality to just be a part of my life, open, without being afraid, you know, that something's gonna leak? Just fuck off, man. This sort of stuff is absolute insanity, okay? Leaking is inevitable. Encouraging that is a little bit iffy, obviously. It's like your privacy getting breached. But there's this something that's inevitable. You'll have to fight against it. And it's a little bit better when you smoothen up the edges and, yeah, it's fine, something slipped, it's fine. But the police is gonna start chasing you down for making it a history, you know, like, it's inevitable. So celebrities should train to accept it. But it's a different kind of acceptance, obviously. It's a way to not not really worry too much of what happened and keep moving forward. It's actually what fans wanted. So congratulations. You want it so hard, you figure out how to do it. Now you have to figure out how to not be caught by police after doing that. So it's quite simple, actually. Accepted. Except that fans are lucky. This one time fans are super lucky. Fuck, I am not lucky. Okay, I don't know. Leaking is inevitable. Just like probably being banned from YouTube is inevitable. And again, I'm not talking about outrageous things. I'm just saying, you dip your toes, you make people aroused of like, whoa, there's a world out there, you know? Look at things from, involve another layer of perception. Maybe some people actually need to roam around that world and they're too scared. They're not open enough to don't understand what it is without someone holding their hand and like, hey, let's go to this unicorn land. I mean, sexuality is so cool. Why is there a wall? Why are you so clean? There are questions that I can't answer for you. Celebrities, okay. Because I'm just another fan that I would rather have leakage everywhere, all the time. Just everyone trying to get attention at this point. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't think anyone has lost my respect whatsoever. I actually respect them way more now, depending on how they deal with the situation, obviously. Because not everyone is going to survive something that's somewhat out of control. You know, like, if you're so scared of dipping into politics, man, I'll just add another layer of what you should be scared of doing. But you might do it anyways. Now, obviously, eventually you're gonna be like, oh, I'm getting old, and nobody will like me to do it. No. Unless you're a fucking grandma, and still, a grandma can do porn. Holy shit. There are no limits for this shit. But I would say, when you're 40, it probably is not respectable anymore. But again, the important part, I think, from my perspective, you have to dip your toes to strengthen your relationship with tier 1. This way you can tier up easily into higher levels. So porn is always down there somewhere of people trying to make something out of people's insecurities. So you don't talk about porn if you're a man. You don't brag about it. You don't share the best porn moments in your life necessarily. But those things starting to leak out just a little bit. And I think even that alone is like that perfect flavor, perfect timing to test out the new waters of just, well, nothing is actually happening, okay? And maybe even sexual assault is gonna reduce because of that, because people are gonna be like, oh, I should just keep it to myself, keep it in my own fantasies and not try to assault people. I should try and convince them, you know? 5. Giving people an option, because people get so fucking thirsty sometimes. Rather a chance that they will get this this wild dream come true. Okay, this is where the wild dream comes back as a narrative piece. 26 minutes, boys, and I need 5 more points. Need to replay this entire thing as well. You're not supposed to be in here. What? Even sexuality is probably would be very insecure seeing Taylor Swift. Like, well, I'm entering publicly entering this thing. Everyone's gonna see it. That's incredible, dude. Well, I simulated being like 100 dick pics per second being sent to me just on Instagram alone. You did something wrong, Taylor. There's a lot of dick pics right now floating around. What is happening? Maybe I asked for really wrong. I don't think this is a negative point that will stop me here. Maybe people are going to be even more encouraged to actually use the internet in general. Like, what is the internet? Well, that's crazy, right? You think it's crazy, but I'm just saying. This sort of influence shouldn't be underestimated. It's like, well, stop buying DVDs. Because she made some progressive policies about herself as a creator. I don't know. There's another thing, obviously. As a creator, you should seek all kinds of fuels. Like, obviously. And adding politics as a fuel of for music, this is getting a little bit edgy, dude. It's like you're running out of something. And I say that sexuality like runs 50% of people's lives entirely. Imagine that. I don't know. I don't know where to put it. It's 50%. It's like half and a half, baby. Have to go around over this wall to actually experience the rest of the life. And actually, like, sexual is even more important than you think. Okay. Sexually connecting with someone even without sex is pretty eye-opening. I have never connected with anyone, although I tried as hard as I can to see what this one-sided thing can actually bring me. And it's still pretty fucking good, okay? Still pretty good. I still feel a little bit too privileged. Because again, well, I can read personalities, I can really tap into this thing. But it's not like I have received anything. I had to mine all this time. Just mine the resources that were available to me. And a lot of it has to do with sexuality. A lot of it has to do with me being a guy who likes a bunch of girls. So I surrounded myself like with a blanket of girls. Wow. What happens now? Well, I paralyze myself until I wake up one day and the world is actually a better place to live. Wow, that's all I'm doing, really. You know, I'm not sure what NoFap means because I don't need energy. I need connection and love for all these people that, well, kind of open my eyes, and I'm still willing to like wait instead of burn myself for something, fight for something. I don't see anything to fight for. I will, you know, continue growing, but that doesn't mean I need to fight something. I see a lot of people sometimes standing in my way, but they quickly start ignoring me. So I just wait it out. And this waiting out system that I adopted, a habit, just keeps persisting now, all of a sudden. So I just wait it out because you're going to ignore me anyways. People haven't really learned how to not ignore. At least in low tiers, again. I'm in a deadlight. I'm being ignored as a human being. And people think it's normal because, like, the moment I get enough money, I can get their attention all of a sudden. The moment I get some kind of form of fame, meaning that I really blew up my talent into oblivion. I open Oblivion gates and there's demons everywhere now. Well, that's a good talent right there. You really put your energy where your mouth is. Well, that's kind of crazy, right? All of a sudden, it's a very twisted world I have to live. And eventually I will break through the moment my political views are being seen. I might start getting discussions all of a sudden. Because all of a sudden I can influence people very easily. They just have to see me first. Now you see me, now you don't. Actually, it would be the opposite. I come from nowhere, and yet I have prepared so many meals. Have a feast, boys. Let's see if you can crack down on how I really feel about something. Because for a long time I had amazing amount of time to spend to just develop myself. Just like I say, I'm in this race where nobody knows that I'm racing them because I'm doing my own thing entirely and nobody's checking up on me. So being ignored is a different kind of lifestyle. It's a different kind of perk. You have to tame the dragon, and it's difficult, obviously, because you have to deal with entirely just yourself and knowing what you're capable of as a human being. Just yourself. Yeah, I think the coolest thing is to see how does a very innocent person break the wall. How do they do it? How do you do it? This is the greatest learning experience ever. If Taylor can do it and show it to people, how do you do this? How do you break this wall? This is a huge influence, a huge flood of influence all of a sudden. And maybe people will change their minds about a lot of things as well. Like maybe people will look at poor from a sexual point of view, and they will be like, whoa, I can help a person, and they might just, stick around. They're just going to be a lot happier if I just say hi to them, or give them something, or interact. And it's also almost like a sexual thing, because it makes you uncomfortable just the same way, So imagine this. Almost every human interaction, and let's put it deep because that's what she said, and not me, but I still have to put it in, because, equality and stuff. Almost every deep human interaction is tied with sexuality again. So we're learning more about sexuality just by simulating Taylor as this completely different being. I will always imagine her as such, honestly. At least a spiritual way. Or, you can't attack my fantasies. I can fantasize about whatever the fuck I want right now. So, if you want me to amplify those fantasies, I'm just saying, what would be normal thing to have a deal about? Where would she end up normally? If I don't exaggerate my pain on her and like say exactly what I want. Just making someone a porn star, I think that's legit. Making someone a PO, double star, that's really cool. Maybe that's a little bit stretchy, but okay. I have 15 minutes to make final smash in the face. No turning back. People should be, at this point, compelled so badly. Like, there are plenty of benefits. Why didn't celebrities actually do this? Well, they don't know how to do it yet, obviously, first of all. Just don't know how to do it. So, who's gonna do it first? Who's gonna jump in first? Obviously, I might start researching about this, because there's always something leaking or some kind of behavior being prepared, but I would rather expect the most unexpected thing to happen. Someone who really understands influence and understand the pursuit of accomplishing something. And yeah, Taylor Swift just needs something better than cats. Than a cat suit, man. She needs something better than that. And it's not a suit, by the way. CG? Really? Disgusting. What was the point of that? You know? Taylor should have become a porn star at that point, basically. No Cats movie. I would rather be a porn star. That would be a much better move. But hey, now I can contribute to that, and all of a sudden swoop away that then a little bit cringy part of her history. It's always better to be less cringy and just be more outrageous, I think. But let's put it down, okay, and figure out if this really is as deep as it looks. Because we climbed all this way up, and this is what I said. It's always better to be less cringy and more outrageous. We have to define outrageous and cringy as quickly as we can and see if this really fits. If cringe is low tier and outrage is actually high tier, something that people are actually reaching out for. I mean, you know that. The outrage culture. But I don't think outrage culture deserves its name that easily. What are outrageous things to do? For me, an outrageous thing to do is like a double-edged sword, right? You have to do two crazy moves for my moves to become outrageous. So, one crazy move is to just go outside. And another crazy move is to try and just interact with a human being in any capacity whatsoever, because I will eventually end up saying or doing something outrageous anyways. I know that. I'm very bad at playing tennis, okay? So if a ball comes my way, I smash, dude. I show how competitive I am about that ball. I'm gonna knock you out at this point. I don't need no balls. I got all of them. all of them already. I have them. Don't worry about it. So I'm gonna be very offended if it's more of a offense culture, not an outrage culture. Not like, oh, I'm so fucking angry I can't even hold my anger anymore. What are you gonna do about it? You know? People kind of end their outrage there. Don't do anything. Okay? Sometimes people will get a little bit boost of courage, but it's for me outrageous to interact with other people. 2 moves that are completely unpredictable of when do I go outside because I don't go outside very often, and when do I interact with people because I don't interact with people almost ever. You have to literally break 2 expectations all at once to make it something outrageous. If you break just 1 expectation, you're just doing what? You're just doing a little bit of a change in your life. Okay, nobody knows why you need it, but you're doing it anyways. Okay, it's almost outrageous for me to go to a certain location and apply for a job. Like, it would actually quite be outrageous. It's very influential to me. But nobody will know because you're entering a private space and you're almost like given enough time to forget about how outrageous it is. So it's quite rare, Gem, to actually make a move like this. Double expectation broken at the same time. At some point in my life, like last year, I tried to do as many outrageous things as possible. The end of 2018 really messed with my mind, made me do something outrageous, essentially. Something really outrageous, almost like triple outrageous. Holy shit, I dove deep, man. Holy fuck. But I never really dove too deep, like triple, no. What would be the triple expectation breaking? Because there's obviously something above that and beyond. Like if a Taylor Swift becomes a porn star, okay, that's outrageous, absolutely. But if she becomes a nasty porn star, I was like a nice girl and all of a sudden I'm a nasty little shit, nasty little slut now. I'll show you what a slut really is. Oh my god, what? No. That is... I think you reached a level of insanity because you're not prepared. You can't possibly be prepared to break 3 expectations. You literally reached the level of insanity. So, what is the definition of cringe? Someone breaks an expectation that they didn't even expect it to break. And it's cringy because they were not even prepared. That's what cringe is. Is someone making a mistake because their cover is out, you know? So the cringe is like, you became a cat person, but it's not a very cool movie. Now, but it's super public. Maybe it was okay if it was a theater thing, but now it's a public disaster. You know what I mean? It's cringe. Someone didn't expect it probably to be in a situation like this, so they were never preparing themselves in their life. They just took the opportunity anyways, because let's say I'm so in love with cats, why not be a part of a cat universe or whatever, you know, for once. In the mind of Taylor Swift, it might seem completely normal, right? But it becomes cringe when you fail to entertain that scenario. To be an entertainer when you are such an important entertainer. So it's like, you know, you could have done something outrageous. Would have been so much better. It depends on your success, obviously, because you're breaking 2 expectations. You have to meet those expectations. And, you know, fully prepared. But cringe is where you actually fail. It's something that already happened. At least, if we're comparing something that she could have done and happened. But it's definitely worse. Again, I can probably put down expectation as an X. So it's a double X. And this is an... it's a completely different X, I would say. Required. cringe, okay. You didn't expect yourself to do something. But that's kind of an expectation broken anyways. But you immediately fail to do it. So it's just an F. Oops, it's just a failure of some kind. It's cringe. It's a simple cringe. That's what it is. It's just a failure. It's better to fail later on and just kind of double down. If you fail here, that's fine. You know? Because you were aiming for a double X. You were aiming to do something outrageous. Is that really bad? Well, yes. It's way more riskier. But it is so weird, isn't it? It's almost like this entire thing suffers from cringe. If I don't know exactly what this is, if I can't solve this fast enough, I have 5 minutes. But I'm gonna think about it just a little bit more. You know, what if I get sucked in by cringe itself? What a disgusting thing. What if there is another way to look at it? I really don't think so, because, like, you know, this is like emotional thing. It's how people feel. You break their expectation and they express the emotion of, like, I don't like it. I just don't like it. They ignore it. They give you an F. You failed to impress. You can try again if you want, if you really cared about it and you have learned from your mistakes. You can try again. But most of the time, if you really learned something, you're just gonna jump over that and fail on something completely different. See, you can do cringe for so long until everything is scoped out in your life. You know, you took all the opportunities and most of them came out failures. You can do so much until you have to start making outrageous moves and almost preparing yourself for that. Is me doing next year a songwriting contest for myself? See how far I can get. Is it outrageous? First of all, I'm breaking through the expectation that I'm making rant videos. I'm breaking through the expectation that I'm solely a programmer. Obviously, that's already gone. And so I'm breaking one expectation. I'm going outside. But I'm also maximizing the talent that I have been hiding this whole time. So I have a bomb in my hands that I can unleash that nobody would have expected at all. Not only the change, but the insertion of something new to replace it. You know, like, people can take a break and it's already a breaking of expectations. Sometimes it can be cringe of, like, why did you take a break? What's wrong? You know, it's already head-scratchingly uncomfortable. But when you are capable of securingly, well, if you're ready to do something outrageous, that is incredible, basically. If you have truly prepared yourself. I think Taylor's jump into politics definitely is outrageous, because she has been silent for very long. So she confuses the people's expectations of whether she cares about politics at all. And she comes out, and it's outrageous for a certain amount of time, obviously. And but what really pushes it to be not just a failure, because it's outrageous. I don't think it calls out as a failure. And I don't even look at it as a negative word at all. It's like, what? Now I have to rethink everything. Now I have to pay attention to it. This is crazy. It almost is impossible to make it a failure. Maybe it can end up as an E. But almost like it can't end up as an X also. Somewhere in between. Okay. Maybe like an A. Because you're the first one to do it most of the time. Especially if you have courage driving your personality. Every outrageous thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna be the first one to do it. So, Taylor's move into politics is actually also quite a new thing, I would say. Quite a new thing. Nobody expected, and she moved fully, making, a statement. That was outrageous. And she has to continue learning that skill, I would say. So here you go. That was difficult. That was a difficult point to make. And it's kind of obvious, you don't want to do something, some kind of failure. But the question is, how do you prepare for this thing? So I was like, even reaching this does not give me confidence. Unless it actually happens, and it wouldn't be cringe at all. See, that I think that's a good way to look at it. If something wouldn't be cringe, if something breaks through walls so easily, and people weren't anticipating but would welcome the change, one way or the other, the fans don't matter. The fans are just suckers for an image that has been displayed for many, many years. They're the ones that are cringy, okay? Fanboys and fangirls are very cringy people. So you don't have to worry about them at all. Don't have to worry about losing them at all. They might actually, evolve because of that. I think that could be a hidden problem with being famous in and of itself. And I'll give it a star because I've been able to sit on this egg for a long time and time out, Not only I have to reach the top of the mountain, but I have to be confident that this is it. This is actually a good point. And find myself making a good point in the first place. And I fucking nailed it, okay? You don't want the cringe to spread. It's like a disease. When you're famous, you allow your fan base to slowly, rotten in cringe. It's like, oh, you're just a Taylor Swift fan. Fuck you, man. I'm way beyond that level, dude. I just came here for a 1-year ride and see how far I can get. Because it's always fun to visit a new fan base that has different cultures and different beliefs. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just traveling. Don't worry about it. I'll come out a better person either way. I know that. Here you go. And for me, constantly changing, going away from a fan base and entering a different fan base, that's outrageous. I'm doing outrageous things all the time. So for me, that's why it was normal thing to ask for this wish to come true. Okay? We have to learn this as best as we can, because it's a completely next level concept I never picked up before. So good luck with that.